Adventure beckons. Test your skills in a realm wrought with savage monsters hungry for blood. Dare to answer the call of the unknown in Adol's continuing saga against the forces that threaten to engulf the enchanted land of Ys. And it does say realm, not realm. This is Ys 3 Wanderers from Ys from the Advanced Communication Company and American Sammy, released in 1992. I don't know much about Advanced Communication, but I know American Sammy, and they're mostly hit and miss. Today we're going to be looking at Ys 3. We have looked at Ys 1 and Ys 2 in the 365 days of the NES. I don't know much about those, so we're just going to kind of pretend that they didn't happen. The plot in this game is huge. I will try not to go over it too deeply, but it is an action role-playing game, and was originally released for the PC 8801 and PC 9801 in 1989. There are versions for the MSX2 and the X68000 in 1991. A number of console ports were produced, including the TurboGrafx CT, Famicom, Super Nintendo, Genesis. There's a PlayStation 2 port released by Taito, and boy oh boy, the TurboGrafx, SNES, and Genesis ports, as well as the PSP and Windows remakes, have received official English translations. In addition, the Famicom and MSX2 ports have been fan-translated as well. There's a big ol' opening movie that goes on and on and on that you can't skip, that kind of tells about our good buddy Adol and his buddy kind of just walking back. Dogi, that's his name. They're passing through a town, they find a gypsy, and Dogi has his fortune told. The fortune teller says, bad stuff's happening, you better go home. So going on their way home, they find that, yeah, bad things are probably going on. So it is up to us taking the role of Adol in a new 2D side-scrolling perspective as opposed to the top-down, kind of making it more of a platformer. Think ActRaiser's platforming section, think Castlevania, where we don't have an auto attack anymore. We have to run, jump, climb things, put on equipment, use experience, shop, magic, and all of that. Mostly, it's all the same, but the gameplay itself has changed quite a bit. Music soundtrack to the original is entirely composed by Maiko Ishikawa. The X68000 version introduced a number of additional compositions, which were composed by Masaki Kawai. Kawai is responsible for the arrangement of Ishikawa's existing compositions for this version, and it doesn't tell me which version this version is. I'm guessing the X86000. Falcom has released a number of music CDs dedicated to the music of Ys 3. There is, in 2005, Famicom released Ys the Oath of Felghana. For Windows, it's a remake of Ys 3. The Oath of Felghana slightly modifies and greatly expands the story, which was already kind of huge. It expands the dungeons to extend the gameplay time. The original side-scroller was replaced with a 3D game engine based on that used in Ys, the Ark of, oh boy, Nashtim. Entertainment Weekly gave the game a C+ and wrote that Ys is one of those classic role-playing games adults can have a hard time getting used to, the kind where you're hailed as a savior by beleaguered townspeople, given a sword and various magical powers, and charged with restoring peace to the land of fill in the blank, at which point you venture forth bravely and get slaughtered by the first insignificant bug that happens to cross your path. Once you learn how to fight back, though, Ys is an interesting enough adventure until it becomes somewhat tedious. Since you have to follow a pre-arranged storyline, there's little room for surprise or experimentation, and after a while the battles, even against more evolved creatures than bugs, start to seem awfully repetitive. I played this game a few times when I was a kid. I believe I beat it once, and I believe I had to cheat to do so, because the game is very difficult. The combat is a little tricky to get used to, and while I think it's worth more than a C+, everything else Entertainment Weekly said there, I totally agree with.